Friday, Shabbos, Sunday.
Yeah. Okay. Today the story is about tshuva. The Jews are doing tshuva. There's a story with an eagle. We're doing tshuva. So I'd like to take the opportunity to look at a little piece in the Igeres Tshuva. The thing explored most by the Rebbe Zecher Tzaddik Lavrocha was Igeres Tshuva. The Rebbe said that we'll do tshuva. Through doing tshuva, the Geula comes. So we want to look at something in Igeres Teshuvah. So if you're looking, it's a huge book. So it has the Chumash Etel and the Tanya. It's Igeres Teshuvah, Perek Gimel. So I wanted to look at something in Perek Gimel. L'chaim. Tonight is we're sitting together also in connection with Avachnach for Shlomi Mermelstein. Shlomi Mermelstein, Baruch Hashem, had a baby. Our neighbor right here.
Next door.
Yeah.
Hey, you said Friday night there was a shindig, some sort of a bring or something?
We
No?
tried what we could do. So tonight is the Vachnach. So maybe he'll come. We'll say together with him with the Zohar and the Chumash. Okay, you get us a tshuva. You get us a tshuva Perek Gimel. You get us a tshuva Perek Gimel. What page?
182.
182?
Yeah, the other side is 182. Okay. See? 182. Like this, you have to go to the end.
You gotta go all the way to the end. See that? In the back. All the way in the back.
Back section.
See this? You
Yeah,
got Teshuvah.
You already went too much.
Is
182.
Sitter.
Here.
Now you're good. Now you're good. Yeah.
Here, look.
Yeah, you're
Rabbi.
good. You're good.
Okay, Gareth right?
So you get us a tshuva Perek Gimel, Daf Tzadik Beis.
Yeah.
Hine Chachma Musa Achronim Nechloku.
Well, page 182?
Yeah,
The other side of
182.
183. Yeah.
Hine Chachma Musa Achronim. It's on page Tzadik Beis. Hine Chachma Musa Achronim Nechloku. Misha Chota Chet Echad Pamim Rabbis. A person sinned many times. The Yesha Emin Tzarech L'sanas Misbah Tzarech L'sanas Chet Pamim Rabbis Tzarech Misbah Shechota. That he should fast many times for the tikkun tshuva for that chait. Kigana moitzi zerel batala. The way seed she mispera tzemes amafurish b'tikkun tshuva ma'arizal haim pei dalatanias. So the pei dalatanias is the amount of to fast. Chotav is esrim pamim v'derech l'mashal tzarech l'sanas esrim pamim. And pay dalat v'chein lo'olam. It's a lot of fasting to do. You get us a tshuva Perek Gimel. Okay, it's a lot of fasting. That's one sheet.
How much?
So he has to for every time he sinned. Every time he sinned, if it's zera levatol, 84 fasts.
84 days?
Yeah, that's a lot. Guy's got to live now for a very long time. That's one sheet. Remember the kormachatos. שחייב לו כל פעם ופעם. יש מדמה עניין זה לקורבן אוילה, אבל מצעשי. אפילו עובר על כמה מצעשי, מסכפר בלחץ, כדיסה בפייד, בגמור פייד כמה דזבוכים.
What's 84 what's special about the number 84?
Barizal knew Beruach Kodshe what's for everything, how many times to fast. So one Shita says for every time you sin, it's like a korban chatos. The other Shita says no, it's like a korban oila. One oila takes care of everything. There is a achra which is accepted, which is a middle Shita. Lisanas gimel palmim k'fim misparatzim is a chet zeh. The three times for this chet. The hainu reishnum beis soimis leitzoa shich v'zer lebatolo. V'chein b'shor chatoim v'abaynis. Tama pima shkotsu v'zer kodesh. So Pashas Noach Kim Nachav Barnash Kame Kuchabricha Zim Nacho David Rishima Zim Nakliso is Pasha to Kisma Sitredo. That's like a stain. That if a person has a little stain, get rid of the stain.
Doesn't work.
But no, it doesn't work that way. You see? Get rid of it. But if the stain kriegt rein as mitzad al tzad, now you gotta wash it up good. So And when a person sins 3 times, it's as if the chait went mesitra dol sitra dol, went in very strong. To expunge it, he needs to do the misper atzemes 3 times. Lakach tzarech misper atzemes gam ken gimel pam. Ochen calls about the mechozik body sheni but atzemes mazik leklal, but he was goofy. Come over there, it's a rishayna. Mishri be atzemes mazik loy. Person that too much fasting is hurting him. Shev sheshuch level de chayla michin shchas v'shalom. Come over there, it's like in our generations. Also loy laharbis b'tainis. He's not allowed to fast. Fila al kreisus of Mrs. Bezdin. Even if the transgression was huge, it was something of Kodesh, of Misa, the Kolchkin al Mitzah say, Mitzlot say, Sheimim Kodesh, Elo Kefir Sheishar Ben Afshi Bavad Lo Yazik Leklal. He can fast as much as he knows that it totally will not hurt him.
When somebody gets Malchus, in the time when people, President was giving Malchus, it was judged by court, by a doctor. So why here's the Shulchan Aruch giving the individual
maybe he should go to his doctor if he can't be
right. Maybe you're trying to say maybe the doctor should decide,
okay,
not the individual.
Okay, maybe he should go to his doctor. Because even in the Rishonim, in the days of the Tanoim, in the days of the Amoraim, you're asking a good question. The Chazal, the din is that a person forget, we say Lakula, that we trust a person against the doctor for Kula, not Lachuma. If the doctors say that everything is good, don't worry, you don't have to be Machal Shabbos. But the Choylul says that he knows that he needs to be Machal Shabbos, Machal Shabbos. And when we say it's up to the person, we're saying Lakula usually. We don't say Lachumra. But the tak, if a person doesn't know, he can ask a doctor. Anyway, back into the time.
In Inyan of Nasa Nasa Geheter, that if a person sins 3 times, it's big.
That's not what he's saying. The other reasons. Partly brings this reason. That's a Zohar that says, I mean, I would have said many other reasons for 3 times. 3 times on Azaka. Yeah, once, twice, we don't know. 3 times. Yeah. Okay. Well, partly brings from the Zohar.
What's his name? The rabbi made every Averos and he made.
We talk about Shabbos.
How many times he has to fast? He made all Averos in the Torah.
It's for a long life.
Yeah. So he's hedging his bets. He's Kafilu b'doris harishonim b'mei tanoim v'amayroim lo yom esanim k'agavn ela abrim demotzal l'tzauri nafshayu. Even in the days of Tanoim and Meroim, who would fast? The people that are healthy, that could stand up for this. So therefore, they did it. Still, not allowed to fast. A person that can learn Torah, he gets punished double. He should give tzedakah. Whatever it is, a certain amount of tzedakah.
I'm lost. A person who could learn gets punished double for doing what?
For fasting.
For fast?
Yeah. Because he's fast. Yeah, because he could. Instead of learning Torah, he's weak now, and instead of learning, he's not learning because he's fasting.
So somebody who the punishment for their avera is to fast, but they're a good learner, would be better off not fasting.
And better off not fasting. Because if they're fasting, they get punished double. Because now they're mavatal from their learning. So what's the eitzah?
Yeah, so what's
the eitzah is that they should redeem every fast through, in other words, the food they would buy for that day, that's the amount they give for tzedakah. The lady is going to say that Bisman Hazeh, that we're giving tremendous amount of tzedakah to heal ourselves. Okay.
Especially nowadays, because you have English farm and everybody can learn.
Yeah, everyone. There's no thing like those days that there was a yid that doesn't know how to learn. Doesn't exist today. You can put a bookmark in here. And if you go a few prakim later, Pedic Yud, just a few prakim later, not many pages, very thin papers here. And if you look in the middle of Pedic Yud, it's on page 198. On page 198, he starts in the middle of the page. He says, Machish at Tefillah B'chinas Teshuvah Ilo, Tzarech L'hagdim L'fnei Teshuvah Tato. Zeh shkotz Razal b'Mishnah. Aim down them l'spal alamat kovid roish. That before the tefillah, it has to be a kovid roish. Pirish Rashi achno Teshuvah Tato lo yer rachmim. You can yell of Osam v'gemara mikra diksiv hi moras nefesh. We learn from Chana because we see that the pasuk says vi moras nefesh. So we learn from here that the way that a person is supposed to add it to the tefillah is the achna to the Eibishter. Achim bebraisa sham toner ramon einim l'spal amater simcha. So it's very hard to do both simcha and achna at the same time. Medidus and simcha at the same time is very hard. Even though in Tanya Perek Lamadei he explains how you could do it at the same time, but it's a little hard. Akshav b'der yosam hazeh shein hakol yecholim lapach libam kerega mina kotza lakotza or mina kotza. Azai eitzi utza lahakdam b'chinas tshuvat ato b'tikin chatzos kenis kelil. That the tikin chatzos mishi efshla b'chol laila al kolponim lo yifches b'pam echad b'shavua lifnei yom haShabbos. At least Thursday night you should do tikin chatzos. Noide la yoidim sha'Shabbos b'chinas tshuvat ato b'Shabbos oisis toshuv. The truth is, today it's not so much the Chabad custom to do Tikkun Chatzos as much, but the idea of Leil Shishi, learning Chassidus for many hours in the night, which is the same idea of doing Tikkun Chatzos. Sometimes the Tikkun Chatzos ends up being very ritualistic. Sit on the floor, you say Tikkun Rochel, Tikkun Leah. It's very nice, but it just essentially is saying the words. Okay, but anyway, that was that. So, just a little thing that Rebbe asked once. Yeah, it's interesting. Why is it in the previous Perek when he said that we can't do what they did? So we call them Doris Rishonim. And over here we say that today we're Dor Yosem. So the Kingresa Kasha is nicht because of what's a Yosem? A Yosem doesn't have a father and a mother. So he doesn't have who to teach him. Here we're saying that it's very hard to figure out, even though in Tanya he says there's an Eitzah how to do Meridus and Simcha at the same time. But it's very hard to figure it out. Someone has to teach it to you. Ador Yosem, they don't have a father and a mother, can't figure it out. And earlier he's talking, what do you mean a Yosem? A Yosem can't fast? And a person that has a father and a mother could fast. That's the Loshen. So that's what he says. Doris Rishonim, Doris Acharayim, Doris Rishonim was stronger. But still, we're missing salt and pepper here. The Rebbe says, when the Alter Rebbe says Doris Rishonim, he says V'mei Tanoim v'Amayroim. Well, listen to Geya. He's a history book here. He's trying to copy the Battle Wine to give you a little bit of Jewish history. What's Negeya? What's this expression?
It's not.
And Bechlal.
It's Ma'atu Adorot.
So what's V'mei Tanoim v'Amayroim? What was the deal?
They were highest Madrega.
Doris Rishonim, Doris Acharayim. Doris Sha'avru, what's all the deal? Doris Rishonim, it made Tanoim v'Amayroim. We know the Alter Rebbe sometimes deliberated 6 weeks on an extra word if you should write Chulu or Vichulu.
Because even in those times, there was a difference between the earlier and later part of that generation.
So what's Dafka Tanoim v'Amayroim?
Look at the Gemara.
Look at the Gemara. They were big tzaddikim.
A few years later, and he's in the Mishnah. He's in the.
And then why is it that Dor Yosem says the Rebbe? The Alter Rebbe is writing. He had himself was around, and he had big chassidim around. There was Rabbi Yomin Kletzke was around. Rabbi Zalman Zezma was around. Big chassidim. They were around. They were big chassidim. The Alter Rebbe. So what do you mean? The Gemara says that there's an expression ended with Mesach Shabbos, Daf Kuf Yud Beis. Rishonim keMalochim, if the first generation they're Malochim, Onu kebnei Adam, we're humans. They're angels, we're humans. And Rishonim kebnei Malochim, kebnei Adam, Onu keChamorim. Then we're Chamoir. The Lord keChamoir, oh, shall. Kanina ben Doisa, he can go flying over the water. I mean, he has the magic carpet.
That's like Bilam Hamor?
No. The Gemara says in the Chuland of Zion that the Pinchas ben Yair was traveling and he came with his Chamor. They parked and he paid the Asanya, they should feed the Chamor. So they didn't want to eat. So they thought that he's a picky chamoid. He likes very good food. So they cleaned up the soidim and they washed it and they cleaned it. Gunish. So they came to tell him this guy refuses to eat. So he says, for sure, the food is not kosher. Why? They didn't take maisa. So they said, maisa, shmaisa, what do you mean? You need maisa for food that's for a chamor? So the Gemara says what happened was they bought the food, they bought the grain when they went to the marketplace. They didn't buy it for the chamor. They bought the grain for human beings. And therefore they were chayiv to take maisa. And they didn't take maisa. They happened to have given it to the donkey, but they really had bought it for human beings. So when you buy for human beings, you have to take maisa. And the donkey, the Pinchas Ben Yoel, knew all this. He knew that this was really Saudim that was bought for Bnei Adam. And he knew that they didn't take maisa.
The loophole is not to take it in and apply it to something that you don't have to give maisa to.
There's a Talmud Chacham.
Theoretically, he could have.
He could have,
if their intentions were
right,
different.
but he knew, and he was right. Okay,
Who was the Farah didn't work?
huh?
Shabbos.
No,
The
that's
Chamor,
that's Reb Chanan, maybe Reb Chanan Dois. Not,
Kedusha.
yeah, that's not a Pinchas Ben Yoel. But this is the story of Pinchas Ben Yoel. So,
So how does that apply to us?
so how does that apply with us? So the Rebbe says like this. So we have three levels. We have Malachim, we have Bnei Adam, and we have Chamor. And in the Chamor, we have a regular Chamor, a Chamor, the Pinchas Ben Yoel, special Chamor.
Wasn't the Hamal believe that?
So, yeah, you know what? The Gemara says, I mean, there's the Torah for the Baal Shem Tov. Baal Shem Tov said, you see the Chamor Soinacha, that if you see that Chomer, if you look at your body, is your enemy. Revetz Tachat Masoyer, he's buckling under its heavy weight. So you're going to say, I'm going to fast, I'm going to hit him, I'm going to hurt him, I'm going to hurt my body until my body is going to get so weak that I'm going to prevail, the neshama is going to prevail, I'm going to beat up my body. So the answer is that's also to do that. Why? Ozav tazav imoy. You have to help your body. You have to help your body. If you're going to eat, if you're going to eat 100 hamatash and lakavid purim, but you got to also make sure that
Sugar is good.
exactly sugar is good. You're going to the gym, you're working out, you're taking care of your body too. You can't just feed it hamatash and lachaim and chopped liver. You got to take care of your body too. But I'm joking. It's true. It's true. But I'm saying that Hashem said even the tzaddik said he's not eating hamatash and chopped liver. He is trying to whip his body. He's trying to fast in order to do tshuva, but that's not the right way. Okay, so now let's talk. What are the three levels? Three levels: malachim, spiritual, absolute spiritual. Chamor is animal. It's chomer, animal. Bnei Adam is the between. The human being is, the Torah says he's Adam because min adoma, and the Shalosh says Adam le'elyon. He has both in him. In the human being, there is also three levels. There is seichel. That's malachim, and then there is primal midas. Animals also have seichel, but the seichel is to figure out how to get what they want. And then there is bnei adam. Bnei adam is a blend of the moyach, shalat al alev. So the person has in him all three levels. Also in avodas Hashem, person has in him all three levels. He has malachim, which is the avodas hamoyach, and then there's chamor, which is avodas hamaisa, and there's the middle that there's the seichel and the way it controls the midas. The Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, the Alter Rebbe says a very important thing, very contentious also. Not everyone agreed. Alter Rebbe says in the Yeres HaKodesh in Siftes that when the Gemara says Talmud Torah Keneged Kulam is only B'Yimeya. And imagine that when the Alter Rebbe wrote that, not everyone took easy to this. When the Gemara says Talmud Torah Keneged Kulam was the days of the Talmud. But today, it's a different story. Today is the big was the Mashiach Shenofla Sukkot David Yishafar Lavan Avshenu. So is the main thing is Maisa Tzedakah. Maisa Uiker, right? So the Alter Rebbe says that Berdis Rishonim, the main thing was Avodas HaMoishim. But today, the main thing is, so there's three Avodas we said. There's Moishim, there's Midas, and there's Maisa. In the Avodas Rishonim, the main thing was Moishim. Today, the main thing is Maisa. So therefore, the Alter Rebbe is saying like this: in the early generations, the Tanoim v'Amoraim, their avodah was mainly Moishim. Like, my body has all kinds of urges. What should we do? So you're not allowed to really hurt it, mamish. Then it of taziv. You're not allowed to. That's what the Alter Rebbe emphasizes, that even in the early generations, the people that would fast were only people like, because they're not allowed to hurt their body. It's also to hurt your body. Still, because the emphasis was not so much avodas hamaisa, the main thing was avodas hamaychim. So that was the main focus. Mamish. Okay, so you have to make sure that that you're not mamish hurting your body. The main thing was taka avodas hamaychim. The body was not so important.
What's hamaychim?
Oh,
Oh, the brain.
The brain.
Oh, so that's why in those days they would take more torture, like they would
Yeah.
in the snow.
Yeah, because But B'Doros Achronim, we find that the Baal Shem Tov made, Baal Shem Tov made a big issue that this is not the right way in Avodas Hashem. The Baal Shem Tov made that this is like repugnant. This is not the way in Avodas Hashem. Why? Because we're not Avodas Hamoichem. We have to do Maisa. The opposite. Therefore, we have to purify the Chamoir. We have to make the Chamoir should be like the Chamoir of Pinchas ben Yoyer. Still, we say in Tanya that ordinary people are going to be a Beinani. Today, if you go to the bagel store in Flatbush, if you buy a bagel already, the Mexican calls you tzaddik. It's very easy to become a tzaddik today in New York. But if you learn Tanya, tzaddik is not easy to get to the Aga tzaddik. Halavai Beinani. So, but
Why
still,
tzaddik? Because the bagel's holy.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think the people behind the counter would even get that.
You're making the hole in the bagel.
So,
it's a holy bagel.
No,
What's
no
the bracha?
Why?
bracha. You're making the hole on the bagel. No bracha.
a whole bracha?
No bracha. What bracha are you making a hole on the bagel?
Okay. So, like NO, you mean?
Right.
So therefore, but there are wise out there saying Doris Rishonim, we understand. Because those Dafka Tanoim V'Amorim, why is he telling it to us? Because there are people, we said, like David HaMelech was killed as Yetzirah B'tainis. He killed him B'tainis. Now, there's a big difference. There could be a Beinani in the first part of Tanya and a Beinani in the third part of Tanya. What's the difference in the first or third part of Tanya? The first part of Tanya is a person that never sinned that much. They don't need tshuva, but still, to be a Beinani, to go up to the level of tzaddik, sometimes requires a lot of fasting. But the guy in the Geras HaTshuva sinned, so for him it's much harder. So we're saying that there is an exception. There is some people that even today their avodah is like avodas rishon. If it's
Like a Gadol Adar, like a tzaddik.
right, when we were young students in yeshiva, and we're talking about 1989, 1990, 91, 92, and the Rebbe those days used to go almost every day to Tzina Kodesh of Sfano, last 4 years. So he fasted basically Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Fasted every day of the week. And he would come back sometimes in the summer days. He would come back almost at 8 o'clock in the evening. That means he didn't eat anything.
Because he
fasted that day. He would fast. He would come daven mincha, and in the last 4 years, a lot of times right after mincha, the Rebbe would speak, and then daven ma'ariv. And the last mamish 2 years, it was this or that. That was giving dollars, giving tresim. But everything was done. It could be very late at night. And next day was Oitche, was the same thing.
Did he
So,
drink?
Did
he
have a
drink?
drank. Yeah, never drank. So, but he didn't eat.
Is
So,
this something other Lubavitchers also?
yeah, we
They go to
you,
tea and they
yeah,
won't
you
eat?
don't eat. Yes.
The
So,
Rav does this?
I do sure don't. That, yeah,
If you're planning on going to a tea of a tzaddik, you don't
I
eat
don't eat.
until after
Yeah.
you finish.
I always plan to go 6 in the morning. Then I push it off for 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1,
As
2.
long as you're not hungry.
No, it doesn't matter if I'm hungry or not. I always plan to go 6 in the morning, and I always break my fast later than the Shivas of the Tamas at the time things happen.
Huh.
But the Rebbe did it every day in the week, and it was for a couple of years.
And he was old.
Yeah, as mamish, it was like a pella. It was like a pella. How can you do such a thing? But the truth
You
is,
said also he danced on Simchas Torah like the buffer. Like, he
no,
did a lot of things like that.
okay, but mamish to fast every day. Everyone saw it. So, so there was you could see even I think once in the video where it was the Rebbe asked that they should give it. He was giving out a certain kuntres, and the boxes didn't come yet. So you see, I think in the video, Rabbi Groner bends over and asks the Rebbe he should go upstairs maybe to eat something. So instead, the Rebbe walks over to Stender and he starts to speak. He gives sicha until they brought the boxes with the kuntres. Sapella, how could a human being do this? So the answer is, Nachas v'sholom, that the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya that you're not allowed to, but that's Torah l'orev tedaber. Someone that really there on the level of Doidus Rishonim, like Tanoim v'Amoyroim, obviously they wouldn't hurt their body, but a little bit not so worried about it. So they have a different avoidus Hashem. So that's the diuk of what the Alter Rebbe is saying here in Perek Gimel. However, when we get to Perek Tes is talking about that it's very hard to be happy and have merirus, sadness and happiness at the same time. True, the Alter Rebbe in Perek Lamed is Dal Tanya. We're getting to it almost, right? Where we're holding now in the Chitas. We're very close. We're almost going to get there. This week, next week.
Right.
So,
But you can ask this question all the time because you're supposed to always be serving Hashem happily, and you're always supposed to have a chana.
so over there, he talks about how you can balance both. One is for the neshama, one's for the guf. You're excited. You're excited about your neshama. You're upset about the guf. He has a whole mahalach in Perek Lamed Dalet. So what is he saying here? So the Rebbe says like this. What does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean at Yosim? What does it mean at Yosim? He's missing of the aim. Ki ovi v'imi azavuni. In Tanya, it says in Perek Gimel, of the aim is the moichin, the chochma, the bina, which gives birth to the midos of kedusha. What happens? When you see a person, sometimes you say a person has a pea brain. What's a pshat? They don't have a very big brain. Where do you see it? Where do you see it? A lot of times you see the person all of a sudden you get a little too much on their plate and they're exploding. Emotional plate I'm talking about. A little too much on their emotional plate, they're exploding. The person has a big brain. I'm not talking about necessarily a genius. There are people that even though emotionally there's a lot going on their plate, but they could sometimes or you said let's not go on emotions, let's talk politics, right? Easier to talk politics. You could hear this opinion, the other opinion. Not that he doesn't care about it; he cares about it. Obviously, if you don't care about it, then you could say whatever. Person does care about it, but still, he could hear one opinion, he could hear an opposite opinion. Why? It's Arachvus Amoichin, because his moichin are so big, so he has room. So to speak, his room for opposite. But if he has a small brain, a pea brain, so he can't. He's exploding. He's a Republican right now. You're starting to tell him all kinds of Nadisha things, progressive liberals, Nadisha Zachen. He's a Frumayid. And he's a Republican, and he votes for Trump. No, so he joined the club. Now you're talking to him. Okay, I can't finish. It's too much. Sorry, a little bit of satire in honor of Purim Kot. So, so that's a shot. So that's a shot that small moichin. So you can't. That's why we say in Toyu, the Toyu there was moichin was very little, and the midas were very big, and there was massive explosions because the moichin did not have enough capacity. The midas were massive, so they were constantly exploding. They were at odds with each other. Yeah, the shamas came from there. Okay, so the Alter Rebbe is saying like this that what's Shabbat Doira Yosem, Bedoira Yosem, Ein Hakol Yochel Lahap Libem Keregem and Akotza Lakotza. A person that has Ovi V'imi, has Moichin Rechovim, he has Chochmo Bina that are large. He doesn't have Anius Hadas, he has Ashirus Bedas, so he could be soivel in the same time. Bechia Tekoi Miliboy Mesitredo. V'chedvra b'sitredo. The Zohar says there could be such a thing that he's crying and happy in the same time. He's crying because of the goof, and he's happy because of the neshama. It's a kanzain. He's upset. It breaks his heart where his goof is pulling him, but he's excited to have a neshama. But b'dachshe b'doira yosam azed, it's very hard for us at the same time to be b'simcha and b'merirus, b'meshigana. You b'simcha or you b'merirus. How can you have the same time? So it's very hard. But Dora Yosem Hazeh, because we have Ovi v'imi azavuni, we don't have so much the Abba v'ema. We don't have so much the Moyach HaChochma, Moyach HaBina. So it's hard to do the Eitzah of having Simcha at the same time of Merirus. Too much. Exactly.
But
And anyway, they'll call you bipolar if you have both. So this is the rate. The guy's gonna say, no, but I'm doing the recipe of Perek Lamed Dalet and Tanya. Say, no, you're bipolar.
Avi ve'imi azavuni, what's the end? Kadosh Baruch Hu asafani.
Yeah.
Under his
Yeah.
wing, so it's good.
Yeah, it's good. But Avi ve'ini azavun is not a good thing. So we have to find an eitzah for this person.
We go after the Chatima.
Oh, so there's an eitzah. For sure Hashem Yasveni. There's an eitzah. The eitzah is, the Alter Rebbe says, Thursday night, you learn Chassidus. And you do Tikkun Chatzos. So Thursday night is you feel the meridus, the bitterness of the neshama, that your whole week you've been pulled down. And then that allows that on Shabbos you should feel the simcha that neshama is feeling close to Hashem through Shabbos. So therefore, that's how he's saying, Achsha B'dor HaYosam Hazeh. Doesn't only mean Yosam, it means Kilu, physically there's no father or mother. There is no Hadracha. Like he said, there's no Hadracha. How could the Alter Rebbe say such a thing? It's a lie. The Alter Rebbe himself was the best Madrich. How could you have a better Madrich than the Alter Rebbe himself? So the Pshat, Achsha B'dor HaYosam Hazeh, means every person themselves. Ovi v'ini hazavuni felt the Ava Ein, the Tvuna and the Chochma missing. So we can't fathom how to have opposite emotions at the same time. A person that has Ovi V'imi has big mind. You can have both at the same time. He knows how to do Perek Lamed Dalet and Tanya. But for us, it's very hard. So we split it. The Alter Rebbe says, you know what, the Eitzah for the Baal Tshuva, and Tanya is talking, remember, Tanya is talking about the person which is not Baal Tshuva necessarily. He's working on himself his whole life. He's a Beinani. Even though the Rebbe says, when the Alter Rebbe says, it doesn't mean he never sinned, really. It means at this moment he's in that way. But in Geras HaTshuva, we're talking about a guy that really sinned plenty, maybe. So now it's a little hard for this guy. It's a little hard. So he's a Yosef. So you know what? Thursday night practice Merirus, and Shabbos, you'll feel the simcha. Okay, David shall helfen.
That was avoiding of the Levine. Sorry, Lex. The Levine was so they should have a reuse
Right.
to use it, and then the simple act.
Yeah. So l'chaim. Tonight we're celebrating. It's an unbelievable thing. It's Chodesh Adar, a miracle like this. The Shlomi and his wife had a baby boy.
Zahava.
Next door.
Yeah. Tomorrow the bris 9 o'clock across the street. Shachris is 9 o'clock, and then there's the bris. So
Third
Those that
floor.
don't work.
Tefillah.
so Shlomi
Those that don't work.
so Shlomi asked me that if we could do over here like the Wachtnacht.
Next door.
So let's make l'chaim, and that will be the Wachtnacht.
Little Zohar.
Oh, so we'll read a piece of Zohar. Before there is a story from the Baal Shem Tov that the minig is to tell the story of the Baal Shem Tov about the Wachtnacht. I love when I was a kid. I always loved the Wachtnacht. I used to wait to hear from my grandfather the story with the cat. It's a beautiful story, and
We said a line from the Zohar.
we said already from the line from the Zohar. Shem gesagt the Zohar. So l'chaim quickly. Tikoi v'liboy v'seter do. Menachem Lev is coming. Okay, very good. So quick. Story of the Baal Shem Tov. There was a Jewish family, and they had a baby, and then there was the night of the bris. And Nebuch, when it came to the bris, they looked in the bed. The baby was dead. And it happened the second time. Third time, they came to the Baal Shem Tov. The Baal Shem Tov said, "You make a Wachtnacht?" I said, "Sure, we make a Wachtnacht." Said, "No, you have to make a big Wachtnacht. You should find Aniyim, Tamid Chachamim, and make sure you fill up the table with all kinds of good food, and they should sit and learn in your house the entire night until the bris. And make sure if a Yid, if an Oni Oirech comes in, that you greet him as well. Make sure you greet anyone that comes in." Okay? So it was the night of the bris, and he was getting very tired. So he told the people that were sitting around the table and learning that he's exhausted and he's falling asleep. But if anyone comes, they should open the door, and they should, because it's very important. The Baal Shem Tov said they should greet whoever comes. They should greet them. Okay, a poor man comes in, so they greet him, and they said, "Oh, he came in." He said, "Don't worry, you guys continue learning." He sat in the side. And he's sitting. He's relaxing on the oven. They're in the little shtetl, and a cat passes by. Cat. Oh, all of a sudden, this beggar jumps up, and he takes the cat and he grabs it, and he finds a stick, and he starts beating the cat. The people tell him, "It's Tsar Balachayim. You can't do this." He said, "You keep on learning. Do your business. I do my business. You do your business. I'm not mixing into your business. You don't mix into my business." He beat the cat. The cat was bleeding. It didn't matter. He kept on beating the cat.
I want to kill the job.
Oh. And then he threw the cat out the window and began the Gevange weiter. And the morning they had the bris, and it was a very exciting event. And they found out that the Poritz is sick, and he's chobel, he's bruised from head to toe. He's bruised. He's bruised from head to toe.
Okay.
That was the cat. So because he would sneak into the house to kill the baby, and the oirach that came. So who knows?
Who else?
Who knows? So no, l'chaim. Whatever the meaning of the story is, there's definitely all kinds of forces that are trying to get into the Jewish house, and definitely we want to get rid of them these days. Beruchnius, and then we have Begashmius. So David shall helfen. We should get rid of all of them, and Lahudim should be Oida v'Simcha v'Sisson v'Yekor.
Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov. Yeah, I wish I was time for doing it.
By Hipime, Akashveda Joe, Akashveda, Hipime, Akashveda Joe, Akashveda, Amoy, let me oid, Koshamoy, let me oid, Doveyat Kosh, Sheva, Yesrim Omeya,
8 o'clock chakras.
9. Hipime, Akashveda Joe, Akashveda, Hipime, Akashveda Joe. Hey, this is all palace. David. David. Yeah, Amen, amen. Oh, was?
En ik ga hem wel blijven.
Sure, sure.
Maar we lonen in this. Still up aan hem.